Hi, my name is Pooja Thabrani and I am a yoga practitioner and instructor in Bangalore. I love traveling, trekking, and trying out different adventure sports. Currently, I am founder and owner of this beautiful space in Bangalore named Balance Yoga. Gone March 2019, I went to Rameshwaram to take a yoga workshop. Unfortunately, I met with an accident in the midst of the city. Now, before I move forward, there's a long list of people to whom I want to thank wholeheartedly and express my gratitude for the help and support they extended. And the first one in the list is a person named Arun Ashoka, helped me to get an auto and took me to Rameshwaram Government Hospital. The hand seemed so swollen that they had to cut off my t-shirt to see the wound. At that point of time, it looked the main injury was at the wrist and elbow. I was able to move the joints, but the pain was intolerable. Some bruises at the waist and right knee as well. The next person I would like to thank is Vivek from Jeevan Residency. He came to the hospital immediately after he was informed about the accident. I cannot thank him enough for going those extra miles to help me through that phase. He coordinated with my husband all the time and he was the only link for me with such a language barrier in this city. When we realized that this hospital was of no help as it is closed on Sundays, as if no injuries can happen on Sundays, Vivek drove me to Ramanathapuram 2 hours from the town and got me admitted to Arogya Hospital. He got me food and fruits and spoke to the doctors and became my only support in the entire city. After 4 hours of accident, doctors here sutured my wrist wound and gave a splint for my right hand, mentioning that I have a condition called HAMATOMA, an injury that is caused when blood vessels walls break and did not get a way out of the skin layer and gets clotted there itself. Meanwhile, my husband had started from Bangalore already to pick me up from here. For him, by the way, a simple thank you would not do a tad bit of justice. Just like music in the song started before the lyrics, through that and stays till the end. I spoke to my family, my teachers, and the only thing I was worried about was to get back to my yoga practice. The next person I would like to thank is NITIN. He is one gem of a person. The thought that was troubling me was that who would take classes now in the studio, which was only 4 months old. NITIN, who was already taking some classes, in a blink of his eyes said to me that he would take care of everything and I need not worry about the classes at the studio. I might have to close down if not for him. Not only that, ANANDI also joined in and started taking up classes. They both managed all of this together for next few days without giving me any hint of trouble. We finally reached Bangalore and on recommendation of a trusted doctor, we went to Narayana Hospital as it was close to the home. Thanks to Bangalore potholes, I was not able to commute much. Unfortunately, Dr. Rajendra Reddy was not available at that moment. And just by seeing the photos, he declared that this was not an emergency case to look at. We went next day and then the process of dressing, overdressing started. He gave medication to reduce hematoma. After a few days, the swelling seemed to be reduced, but something started to show up at my forearm. And it was the fourth dressing when we saw that it became a matter of major concern. Dr. Rajendra Reddy, an orthopedician, suggested that my arm required a plastic surgery and he will be operating. He said, I'll have to go through 2 surgeries, with first one being debridement and the second one is skin grafting, and this process will take 2 days. Since the cost he quoted was way too high, we started taking second and third opinion. Meanwhile, all these days I was sleeping seated as there was no other comfortable position. Next day, we went to another close by hospital, Phoenix, those amazing people just peeled off my skin, which was partially dead, and for the rest, even they recommended the skin grafting. Next, we went to St. John's Hospital, recommended by Dr. Ramesh LJ, and met Dr. Narendra, plastic surgeon there. Even he recommended the two surgeries, but the stay, he said, would be for 3 weeks or more. We consulted numerous doctors and surgeons in our reach, and all of them recommended the later one, of course. As we informed about this to our families, I realized what family means. My in-laws started from Pune in next 4 hours, and my dad came right next day. At one phone call, they all were here. Finally, 15 days post the accident, I got admitted to St. John's Hospital with the hope that I would come home stronger and better than this. Nitin and Anandi were leaving the city, and the next 3 people who took over the studio classes were Ajith, Shruti, and Rahul, managing their daily office work and classes all together for the next few weeks. I'll be forever grateful for the kind of support they extended. The preparations for the first operation started, and on 17th of April, the first surgery of debridement was done. The dead skin was removed, and this was my hand condition. And I wanted to get back to yoga practice and do inversions with this hand. Until few days, I was not allowed to move my hand, nor I was allowed to see the condition. The series of dressing over dressing began again, until the black injured muscle you see here was healed. That particular sweet spot of hospital did not even have network. The only thing that I could do was binge watch series over series. The best part was, once in a day for 20 minutes, I was allowed to go to the deer park and have a breath of fresh air. Eventually, the muscle healed. On 24th April came the day of second surgery of skin grafting with the general anesthesia. This time, they peeled the layer of skin from my thigh and quite literally stapled at my arm. The second phase was worse. It took me 8 hours to come back to consciousness. Before that, only my hand was blocked, and now I could not walk for the next 8 to 10 days. Forget walking, I was not even allowed to go to bathroom. I had to pass urine on bed and no stool passing for next 3 days, and still eating food. My husband stood beside me during this like my shadow. It was impossible without him. I was starting to lose hope completely by this time. And that's when Bharath Sir showed up, when doctors were saying my hand movement would only come back 90%. Sir's word of courage and his experience got deep rooted within me. He said that it's just a state of mind. Don't listen to the doctors. I'll help you get back 100%. The confidence he instilled at that moment is still alive within me. The day came to remove the staples, and it was becoming quite difficult to cope up with such negative environment in the hospital. And now I was not even allowed to go to the deer park. They had to wait for few more days until they were sure that the graft was completely stable. Finally, when my hand was in this condition and I was able to walk a little, they discharged me on 8th May. I was leaving hospital after 25 long days. I would like to thank Dr. Narendra for 2 successful operations. When I came back home, my hand was so swollen that I could not move even an inch. Then started the session of physiotherapy, and the doctor said that it would take me about 6 months to get my hand movements completely back. And so I had to get a haircut because my hand wasn't bending enough to reach the hair. I also started visiting an Ayurveda and Marma doctor, Dr. Arshid from Sagar Ayush in Indranagar. My husband made me this cool jugaad for my leg, and my mom made this cushion jugaad for my hand. And this is how I used to go to doctors and also take the classes. Oh yes, I started taking classes back just after 15 days of discharge. I can't explain the magic that Dr. Arshid did. I had immense trust in Ayurveda and in him that I got my hand movement back in a month's time. which doctors said would take about 3 to 4 more months. With physio, we used to measure degree by degree of the movement of my hand daily. But the bigger problem was that the donor area was not healing well as per the doctors. The struggle was not over yet. Only when the hand became straight, I came to know the intense wrist pain that existed. And it was again Dr. Arshi who helped me with Ayurvedic treatment to get the strength back to my arm. I can vouch for him any day. The challenge still persists. Every morning my hand gets stuck and I have to do the physio movements to get back to the normal position. Today, after 6 months, I got back to my practice and can be on my hands again. Sir was right. It was only in the mind and a matter of time. I pray no one has to go through anything like this in their lives, and I would like to thank again all the wonderful people who helped and supported me through this phase of my life.